enumeratio라는 표현 방법입니다. 여기 설명이 나오니까 읽어보시고요. Figure of application in which a subject is divided into constituent parts or details and may include a listing of causes, effect, problem, solution, condition, and consequences입니다. 예제가 많기 때문에 예제를 하나씩 살펴보겠습니다. 첫 번째 예제군요. 들어보시죠.
Formed in 1979, June, in Washington, D.C., the moral majority with a handful of people, which has grown now to over 100,000 priests and rabbis and pastors and blacks and whites and young and old and all kinds. Catholics are the largest part of the constituency, 30%, because of our strong pro-life emphasis.
두 번째 예제인데, 첫 번째 예제에서 enumeratio가 found in the listing of the parts of the moral majority. 참고하시기 바랍니다.
It is true that this international union is a strong militant organization. This international union is comprised of 17 trade divisions, the executive board of 15 individuals, 13 vice presidents.
다음 예제입니다.
Who's going to turn down a junior mint? It's chocolate, it's peppermint, it's delicious. That's true. It's very refreshing.
그 다음 예제고요.
But I think that any ontological history of ourselves have to analyze three sets of relations. Our relations to truth, our relations to obligation, our relations to ourselves and to the others.
자, 그 다음 예제군요.
Together, Kennedy Kerry have opposed the very weapon systems that won the Cold War and that are now winning the war on terror. The B-1 bomber that Senator Kerry opposed dropped 40% of the bombs in the first 6 months of enduring freedom. The B-2 bomber that Senator Kerry opposed delivered airstrikes against the Taliban in Afghanistan and Hussein's command post in Iraq. The F-14A Tomcats that Senator Kerry opposed shot down Gaddafi's Libyan MiGs over the Gulf of Sidra. The modernized F-14D that Senator Kerry opposed delivered missile strikes against Tora Bora. The Apache helicopter that Senator Kerry opposed took out those Republican Guard tanks in Kuwait in the Gulf War. The F-15 Eagles that Senator Kerry opposed flew cover over our nation's capital and this very city after 9/11.
자, 그 다음 예제입니다.
For the first time in history, people of Jewish, Catholic, and Protestant faith are standing side by side and working in closest cooperation for a great common cause. The 7 organizations included in the campaign, namely the Young Men's Christian Association, the Young Women's Christian Association, the National Catholic War Council, the Jewish Welfare Board, the War Camp Community Service, the American Library Association, and the Salvation Army are authorized by the Secretary of War and the Secretary of the Navy to work for the soldiers and sailors in and near the camp.
자, 그 다음 예제입니다.
Offensive line coach Jim Myers. He built an offensive line that was unmatched. And today, I cannot accept this honor without bringing Coach Myers and his offensive line into the hall with me. And that line consists of John Fitzgerald and Tony Liscio and Dave Manders and Ralph Neely, John Nowland and Blaine Knight.
자, 그 다음 예제입니다.
The Equal Rights Amendment was first introduced into Congress in 1923. It was born in the era of the Women's Suffrage Amendment. I'll recite it for you in case you don't know it by heart. It says, equality of rights under the law shall not be denied or abridged by the United States or by any state on account of sex. Section 2 says Congress will have the power to enforce by appropriate legislation the provisions of this article, and Section 3 has it go into effect within 2 years.
자, 힐러리 클린턴의 그 연설문 중에서 이 타이틀이 Women's Rights are Human Rights이라는 주제로 연설을 한 것 같은데요. 들어보시죠.
These abuses have continued because for too long the history of women has been a history of silence. Even today there are those who are trying to silence our words. But the voices of this conference and of the women at YRO must be heard loudly and clearly. It is a violation of human rights when babies are denied food or drowned or suffocated or their spines broken simply because they are born girls. Is a violation of human rights when women and girls are sold into the slavery of prostitution for human greed, and the kinds of reasons that are used to justify this practice should no longer be tolerated. It is a violation of human rights when women are doused with gasoline, set on fire, and burned to death because their marriage dowries are deemed too small. It is a violation of human rights when individual women are raped in their own communities and when thousands of women are subjected to rape as a tactic or prize of war. It is a violation of human rights when a leading cause of death worldwide among women ages 14 to 44 is the violence they are subjected to in their own homes by their own relatives. It is a violation of human rights when young girls are brutalized by the painful and degrading practice of genital mutilation. It is a violation of human rights when women are denied the right to plan their own families, and that includes being forced to have abortions or being sterilized against their will.
자, 그 다음 예제는 버락 오바마 연설입니다.
Since our founding, American Muslims have enriched the United States. They have fought in our wars, they have served in our government, they have stood for civil rights, they have started businesses, they have taught at our universities, they've excelled in our sports arenas, they've won Nobel Prizes, built our tallest building, and lit the Olympic torch.
자, 마지막 스피치요.
God's desire is for transformation, changed lives, changed minds, changed laws, changed social orders, and changed hearts in a changed world. This principle of transformation is at the heart of the prophetic theology of the black church. These two foci of liberation and transformation have been at the very core of